See, HFR from the floor. Well, I used to be. Mistrade, Matt Davio, the don't. Market Vitals, the stream. Please share this right now. If you're watching this on Twitter, please retweet it out. And let's have a show. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Oh, fantastic, man. Couldn't be better. Opening day tennis yesterday. How great was that? I
felt the sun this morning. I felt a little burned. My back hurts. Yeah, I feel alive.
Dude, it was so great. I mean, it was 72 degrees. There wasn't a whisper of wind.
Not a whisper.
Right? Clearest blue sky ever. No chemtrails anywhere. And the results were the same. I cannot beat this fucker in tennis if my life depended on it. But anyway, my life doesn't depend on it. And we said one of the great things about growing up in the Midwest, right, is understanding how shitty the weather is and being in awe of how awesome the weather is in other places, especially in certain times of the year. Fantastic.
Well, and I think you put it, what is it that you said? You said it's, we had 3 days like this a year in the Midwest, and you're right.
Exactly.
And they're all in September.
It was September, and it was like 11 in the morning till 12:15 just before kickoff, and then all of a sudden the clouds roll in, and the wind picks up, and it drops to the coldest I've ever been in my life. By the way, for sure, was one of these days, and it was actually in spring at a Cub game, Wrigley Field. 72, no wind to begin the game. Shorts, t-shirt in the bleachers, having a great time. Right. And then all of a sudden the wind turns around, comes off the lake, and it drops to 42 degrees and nearly hypothermic because you're still drinking and going to watch the game. You're not leaving.
Yeah. As a Midwest sports kid, I played baseball, and playing baseball from February through May was hell because you're just freezing out there. And the good news, I was a pitcher, and it probably, like, I look back, I've actually thought about this before, like that weather helped me because the batters were at a disadvantage just because.
Oh, how about like especially if you could throw some heat, like you're sitting there like waiting for the sting.
Yes.
That's
what it was, especially in high school baseball. Like half the kids don't even want to play, like their dads were pushing them. Because it was the only sport. That's a great thing now. Like my kids didn't play baseball, and I didn't want them to unless they really wanted to. And once they started playing lacrosse, God, it would have been. I maybe had one that still goes, "Why didn't I play baseball?" And he would have been good, but he was good at playing lacrosse too. So, and then they were out there running, and the game was over in an hour. Like that's the great thing as a parent. Game is in and out. Boom, done. 1 hour.
Let's go.
15 minute, we got to hit the 15-minute quarters. You know exactly when it's over, even if it's blustery and windy, which we have that weather here too in the spring. It's just it's the opposite. We have 3 days of that versus 3 perfect days.
Right on.
Yeah.
Hey man, I got to share the risk. We do not tell you what to do as a trader. Risk is all in your own court. Read the risk disclaimer, and you can share that. Matt, breaking news: the Big Mac index is out. Watch my head disappear. Big Mac. It's the relative value purchasing power of a Big Mac in your particular currency denominated region of the world. And right now, Switzerland is the most expensive Big Mac that you can buy. You can't buy freedom there, but you can buy a Big Mac for nearly $7 versus a $5.81 average Big Mac in the US of A. And $4.95 in the euro area. We like talking price discovery, Matt. By this index, and why they published it is it's a currency play. So if the Swiss should devalue against the dollar based on the index, like this should come back into line. More importantly, what we've been looking at is
more importantly, you can go to a Swiss assisted suicide clinic and pay $11,000 to die, or you can pay $7 for a Big Mac.
You just eat that Big Mac 3 meals a day
over and over again.
You are dead before you spend the 11 grand. Your family will be happy, right? I love that tack. The better trade though here, if you're looking at this, not Sega Technologies, is the Euro Swiss.
Well, let's look at
Let's look at
McDonald's.
McDonald's first. Whatever your du jour, whatever you want to do.
Let's look at the McDonald's first, because I think what's important here is this has already been in a downtrend, and you and I kind of went over this, and it's bounced right. Well, again, the further back you go, right, it's less pretty. But here we go. It bounced right off that line right there. Boom, 214. So the retrace trade is on as we speak already. And it ran all the way up to, where did we get up to, like 240? We might get 245. I'm a seller. Again, any bounces on the Big Mac here, I'm a seller just because of this chart. And I think what's going to happen is we're rotating the other way. We're coming back to the neckline, resell it. And this time we'll go through this like butter, and we'll go test this. We'll bounce again, and then we'll eventually rotate lower.
Well, and for you fundamental people out there, for sure, the fundamentals should get better as consumers get squeezed, right? And
yeah. Well, but then again, $7 Big Macs, and or save your money and just get the 11,000 and get the suicide. Either way.
My point being, on the fundamental side is, yeah, you might get a bump in traffic as things go shit show sideways. You're also going to experience higher cost inputs as McDonald's. And can you make that Big Mac $8, $9? I mean, what kind of price elasticity is in that Big Mac?
Right.
And that's going to show up for sure. But back to the currency play that the Big Mac index is supposed to drive.
Right.
Now, we're supposed to believe that you should be selling Swiss, buying euro on that reversion to the mean of a Big Mac cost. And I do not like this trade at all. I mean, you are fading the trend and a long-term trend, and I don't see why this is a buy.
Europe's in trouble, and it's going to continue to be leading the trouble here. I mean, Australia and New Zealand are catching up to the problems of Europe. Europe's got so many migration problems, immigration problems, and it's anywhere from the Mideast to now what they're saying, 5 million Ukrainians are rolling over. So, it's not a good time to be European, and they're broke. They're all broke. And that's why they are jumping on the Build Back Broker program, because they cannot pay their pensions. They already know their pensions are exhausted. And I keep talking about this. This pension thing is real. It's going to be real here. Every government is corrupt and broke right now. That's anyone that is pushing hard on this stuff knows this, and that's why they're continuing to do this. And that's why all these currencies are failing ultimately, including the US dollar. US dollar will be the last one until the Phoenix rises, whoever that is in the future. But that's in the next 10 years. So it's not today. It's not a today trade.
Right on. Now, you can actually trade this a couple of ways. If you have a Forex account, you can trade the Euro Swiss straight up. If you are trading futures at the Merc, even on the micro level, you can be long Swiss, short Euro, and have this exposure to this trade. Yeah, I don't see anything positive about this chart. Fundamentals be damned, and we say that all the time. Who could pick out the fundamentals that are driving markets? I mean, the markets are disjointed from any rationality, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. Well, speaking of disjointed, the bonds today, like I said, they've been up all day, and equities are still hanging up there. So it just tells me the algo is on through this end of this month, this quarter, when the bonds have turned up, and now the equities are still up. They're basically flat for the day, but they had a little sell-off, but nothing. Again, we can't take out yesterday's lows during this move. This is day 7 of that move of trading. So that continues to go on. The bonds have found a bottom for now, 147.20. Remember the number that we were talking about, 142, 143. We are still going there, no doubt about it. And ultimately, we're going to travel down to, we got to right there, Bob, like 140, like this area right here, 145, 146. We're going there. So, maybe get a bounce back to that 152. That'd be nice. And, then reload it and put it back on, that 152 being the key level. Remember, this is why numbers on the big picture, because they come back. Nothing goes right to the point and up unless you're trading crypto.
Well, that's why they call it trading. And when you add leverage involved, you can know the numbers and not execute because the leverage kills you.
That's right.
And that's the dance of trading.
And that's where patience and just waiting for these numbers to come back to you is important. Like, or getting a little on. You just have to have a little on. You don't have to have a big piece on, right? Don't put your whole piece on as it's bouncing and you think it's going to go to that number. Put the big piece of it on when it gets to that number. And if it doesn't get to it, at least you got a little on. There's a lot of ways to play it. And you can put on that number as we're rising too by selling options. There's a lot of things you can do. So it's again,
you know what, Matt, that you said something here, and I want to point it out how it shows up in other places. You said it's kind of quiet. This is the Market Vitals levels you need to know to triage the market, our financial sheet covering 70 plus commodities and spreads. And we've talked about this before. The range predictor is cooked into this thing. So in the SPOOs, 05 to 17, a 12-point spread there between the pursuit or the pivot and the first pursuit risk target. No, I did this wrong this morning. Hold on, I got to do it again. It's the pivot is 94 to 05. Let's call it 96. So we're talking 11 points.
12 points.
12 points. Actually, I did it right. Divided by 0.17 gives you an expected range in the SPOOs of 70 handles today, right? Yeah. Completely underperforming right now.
Well, 305 on the NASDAQ, and we've done 200. So
again, NASDAQ also completely underperforming.
But it's only halfway. We got,
You're right. We play this if then. Like, so what are we going to do? In the SPOOs, are we going to go trade ping 45.50, or are we going to go hit that shorter term point of control? I forget which one I looked at. It was right down about 35.
Right.
So either or we just underperform. We can underperform today. We can have an underperformance day, and that happens.
And then that shrinks the expectations tomorrow too.
Exactly.
So,
all right, Matt, I wanted to share this. Let me share this also. He likes to share.
Just share.
This was from the Financial Review. I'm not sure where the hell that is. The suburb. This is in Australia. The suburbs where house prices have likely peaked. Well, yeah, I think they've peaked because when you look at the suburbs of Sydney, and the one that jumps out at you is this one here, Eastern Suburbs North. Median home price was 3,800,000 Aussie dollars, down to 3,115 or 150, $650,000 off on that home purchase price. Matt,
yeah, so the high end has stopped transacting already. The high end, and that's usually how it works. Like everybody puts these silly prices on, and then they just stop, and then the prices have to be walked down, and so. The infinity and beyond piece, as we said, it's happening here too. It's like you can say what you want, but the high end, the people that have financial analysts that work for them, they're telling them, hey, this isn't the time to buy a house. I mean, they're not dumb, even though
Matt, George Orwell, I believe that's who this cartoon is, correct?
Yep.
I mean, he had it off. It wasn't 1984. It seems that it's more 2020 to 2024 is the
and for you
range
for you kids that are trading GameStop every day, you might want to read that book, because I don't think they forced you to read it like we had to read it back in when we were in school. And if you probably had read that book, you probably wouldn't be continuing to speculate in GameStop, by the way. And that went from 77 last week to 152 just about here, Bob. So who's keeping score?
Well, I mean,
the monkeys are in control again. Monkey
full
trading.
Risk on with no consequences.
No consequences.
Please show me the Fed balance sheet.
Yeah. Let me show you. Let me show you the long term, right? This is like, and this is how it plays out. Also, this is what people don't get. You can keep talking shit and go on your bulletin boards and do this stuff. I just don't see it going above here again. So what's that, 200? You might have another.
By the way, if you got a double bagger in a day, how do you not take the money?
Right. Well, it took about 4 or 5. It took about 4 or 5, but the blow off seems to be evidently in the future. Let's just say that it's not going anywhere. It's going to continue to drip back to $3. $3, Bob. That's where it's going.
All right, Matt, we talked.
Don't be the last one holding. Don't be the last bag holder. Okay, just don't be the last one. You can get out at 4.
It's hard to get out.
If you get out at 4, it saves 25% of your money at 3.
Matt, I saw you shared over 8% of a home values over $1 million.
In the
Is that
United
right?
States.
Now I saw the average home now in the USA selling for over $500,000.
Yeah.
And we got
And again, if that doesn't align with what you're talking about in Australia,
all I'm just telling you is the timeline
yes,
is, they've gone full and have been full Orwellian for 2 years there.
they have.
Full fascism
Yes.
on board, everybody on board. And it ultimately it has consequences. And you're seeing that.
Yeah.
Now-
Well, it has consequences in price, culture, society, family, right? To your point, you were talking about this before, fascism kills all organized religion too. So, let's talk about that a little bit, because I think the family was already lost, and now you really have no family. You have the Pope full on New World Order right now too. So you can't listen to the Pope anymore if you're Catholic.
I thought he's rearranging everything right now.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
He's cleaning house for a little rearrangement. Matt, in other news, the Russians now saying if you want to buy our oil, you have to use rubles.
That's right.
You can actually trade the ruble. It's available at the CME ruble futures. There hasn't been a call to stop that, which is surprising to me.
Well,
People still need to hedge their ruble exposure, apparently.
they do. They do. Yeah,
we got a full on for sure bounce going on in the ruble as it got crushed.
Yeah, this is a 610 chart, right? So this is a little longer term, but you can see it basically didn't do anything. It just kind of chopped along for years and years. And then once this started,
it like the Mexican peso. You could say whatever you wanted about.
I guess this is the game plan to kill each currency. You basically invade somebody, your currency gets killed. So China's next. I guess the yuan will get killed. I guess if they go and invade Taiwan. I mean, this is the thing. In a lot of ways, that it's failing because they can demand that you pay in rubles, right? So that's one way. And then every country does that, and so that's why sanctions never work. They never work. So it's a broken policy. It should never even be implemented in the first place. Why is Resident Zoo going over to Poland after Kamala's failed effort over there to talk? When she was
there wasn't an important enough passage of time, apparently.
Because time passes, and when time passes,
it's an incredibly important
we turn the calendar.
Time.
When we turn the calendar, the next day comes, and it was like watching. It was like watching Bean there again, and
I still haven't watched it.
Chauncey the Gardener. She's Chauncey the Gardener. She is Chauncey the Gardener.
So you're saying
he's Zoo and she's Chauncey. That's where we are. Chauncey the Gardener is back. And if you haven't watched it, Bob Bean there, go watch it. Great
thing
show.
I hadn't really thought till you shared this today. On Amazon and Prime Video now they have exclusive rights to Thursday Night Football.
They've been doing it. They've been doing it the last few years,
right? Yeah. But they has not been exclusive.
No, you're probably
Thursday
right.
night was on NBC, and so they have got the exclusive right to Monday Night Football. So your Prime membership gets you.
My question is Kirk still going to do ESPN and Game Day and all that? Because he's a big asset for ESPN, and that really doesn't conflict if it's just Thursdays. He can still do Saturdays. I don't know though. Does Disney trump Amazon in this one? I don't know. Seriously, I don't.
Trumps both Disney and Amazon for sure. But I kind of like this pairing. I like Kirk, even though you don't like him because he's from Ohio State.
I've always liked Kirk. That's not true. I've always liked Kirk. The last few years, he's gotten a little corporatized, you can tell, and good for him. It's a big payday, but along with that, payday comes the shackles of who and what you can say, and so that's all. But he was already at Disney, so I mean, what bigger shackles could you have? But I think it's good. I listen. I like Al Michaels. I don't know if you know this. Al Michaels fancies himself a short seller, so I like Al Michaels. He's a curmudgeon.
He's a don't. He likes selling short.
He likes the dark side.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. My thought though is like it's a continued great play out of Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, Amazon basically won the world because of Amazon Web Services. It wasn't because they were selling books and delivering books. They continue to evolve. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I got my membership, so I can partake in Thursday Night Football.
And you can order, and when you forget something at the grocery store, you can order it for free shipping and do it 20 times a day. That's the good thing about it.
Let me ask you a question about global warming and corrugated boxes.
How come nobody is going after Amazon with all the, I'm ordering one box of vitamin B or some laundry detergent. They all come in a separate box.
Household use of corrugated it's got to be 100x what it was 10 years ago. Maybe 1,000x.
Absolutely. Even when I used to go to Costco and they'd say, "Hey, do you want some cardboard boxes to take home your $35 items?" And you did. You're like, "Yeah, I'll take them."
And now you get a toothbrush, and sometimes you get a toothbrush and it comes in a box that can hold an NFL football. You're like, what is going on here? Or 10 NFL footballs. It's ridiculous.
It is.
Hey, Matt, speaking of NFL football, we got a bracket here we got to talk about. I'm calling out Chef Gruel. He's been dodging me in the Twitter sphere. We love Shrimp Mojo. We think it's going to run this bracket, but this is our bracket for shrimp on the barbecue. We got Shrimp Mojo against Old Bay, McCormick's versus Fish Magic, and we got Chef Gruel, whatever he comes up with, against the Weber Dry Rub, and Zatarians versus Slap Ya Mama Spice, which is fantastic too. A lot of these are great. I just don't see how any of them can compete with the flavor profile, the history, the incredible success that Shrimp Mojo has seen, just smacking people in the chops and just destroying taste buds with flavor.
I was thinking this morning, I've got to do some shrimp tonight because, I'm kind of out of the bags of lettuce right now. I need to go to the grocery store and I got to get Amazon so they can send me a little bag over, in the next few hours.
You can go to Amazon and get that Shrimp Mojo. Just search for it. Speaking of Amazon, I got Shrimp Mojo taking on Fish Magic and then moving on. And I got, I think the toughest one here is the Zatarians versus Slap Ya Mama. I'm going to give Chef Gruel his due, and he can beat like a corporate manufactured rub, right? A fascist rub like out of Weber for sure. I'll go with Slap Ya Mama against Chef Gruel. I think because I want this to happen, Gruel, I'm gonna push you to the championship. All right, but you know what? We got to do this. We could actually do it, and it would be a lot of fun. I challenge you, Chef. I challenge you to a Shrimp Mojo shrimp on the barbecue competition. All right, man, what else do we got?
Well, we got the games picking up tomorrow in the Sweet 16, right? Don't forget, we got the continuation of the brackets going on. What do you like in the games there?
Hold on a second. Who we got tomorrow? I got to tell you, I was a don't on the Zags, but they proved a lot to me in the game.
Yeah, that's even more reason for me to fade them. So
I don't know. I mean, well, for sure, Timmy, that dude seems to be.
He's in a different world for sure.
He's on a mission here.
Okay, so tomorrow. Okay, here's what we have. Okay, we got Gonzaga, Arkansas. We got Texas Tech, Duke.
Here's the clown world that we live in. My Alexa this morning, and I don't say my Alexa, the Alexa that's in the house, I never would have bought the thing. But Alexa is sitting on the counter, right? And I glance over to it and it says, the Alexa thing says, why the Zags will cover against Arkansas. I'm like, I'm getting betting advice now from Alexa, not just win, why they'll cover. So maybe I should fade Alexa.
Another reason why Davey Boy and Penn Gaming have zero chance to differentiate themselves versus the 1,000 other ways that they can try to create degenerate gamblers.
Bring up Penn Gaming. Just let's talk price discovery as for sure this is their last hurrah until football kicks off in 3 or 4 months here.
Penn Gaming.
Penn Gaming, yeah, they got 2 weekends left, right?
I'm sure it's been well. You got the Masters coming up. You got all kinds.
Yeah, but that ain't, believe me, that's peanuts and popcorn compared to.
I brought up a short-term chart to see if it had bounced, and it had, but it's already rolled back over. It doesn't get a lot of, it went from 37 back here in January, back up to 51, now rotating back down here to 40. We're in this brackets and rackets for a while.
Important to know, because you can, if you're a stock trader, you can make money on that bracket.
You can, but again, it's kind of 37 to 55, right?
And if it breaks 37,
the Bears are in control as long as we stay below this line at 54. Wherever, somewhere in that ballpark. And if it breaks, we've already talked about this, it's going to the teens.
Rackets and brackets, tiers.
It's going to 33 first, then 31, and then it's going to $20. I mean, we just entered, as we talked about, on the daily, 65 was the value zone entry. It could go all the way down to $6-7. Things get really dire and inflation continues to go.
Again, another thing that's going to get squeezed to the bejeebies. Like
gas money, food money, energy money for your house, or gambling. Well, degenerates will find a way to gamble, just like they will drug addicts, whether it's drugs, shopping. So, but it just means more crimes coming is all it means.
Time to put the fence on across the front yard, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because they're going to come take whatever's, free and untied. That's where they are, about.
Our friend Longplex is had another cautionary tale. And by the way, Longplex, check out the article about Australia, because Canada is about as fascist as all of them. Mm-hmm. And you better opt out of that expensive house that you're dwelling in and cash. And I think he is. I think he's cashing out of Canada.
I think he's trying to. And he's going through the emotional, where are we going to live? Fucking dude, rent. There's rentals everywhere. If all these foreign people are buying it, then there's got to be rentals somewhere. So go rent somewhere. Doesn't matter. You can do that for a few years.
Personally, in Canada,
I'd leave the country. I don't know where you go, but I'd leave the country. Maybe go to Calgary.
Well, I think Calgary.
I think that's what's going to happen. Here's what should happen. I read this. Somebody else was talking about this. Let's separate California, like the West Coast, and New York. You can carve out Chicago and Toronto and Vancouver. Let them go full fascist communist, and we'll let the rest of the middle just go back to living normal. Including Florida. So you got Florida. You got a nice place to go. You have. Everything but Vancouver, so you can still go to Banff, carve that out. All the goodness in the middle of Canada and the US will form a new entity called Live Free.
New Hampshire, baby. Live free or die.
Yeah, live free or die. But basically, we're going to have that whole policy for that middle part of the world, and I think it'll go well. What do you think about that?
I love it. I think Alberta is going to try to become part of Greater Montana.
Yeah.
And okay. That now we're getting off topic. We said we were going to talk no geopolitics today. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to just talk about price discovery. So I apologize for the central right leanings of the broadcast. Actually, it's whoa.
Oh, you're getting that.
Davenport, Iowa on the phone. Hold on a second. Let me take this. Yeah, what's up, Davenport? Long Amazon, short Alibaba. I'm not sure I'd do that. All right, call back later. All right, man, what do you got?
Just looking at the NASDAQ, sold off opening half hour. It had already been selling off all night. All right, we spent 12 hours up there. It's 12 hours yesterday. We couldn't go anywhere. And then they just dripped them off. They bid them up there. I can't tell you why that level particularly, but algo came in, and there was, this was the old.
You know what? I want to qualify something here. When you say an algo, because I think that's not accurate, because I think there's dozens to hundreds to thousands of algos, but a lot of them are chasing the same model.
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
And
we came back into this area right here, right here at 14,460, but everybody decided, yep, that's the bottom. Okay. So that was like, but you can just see it was like right at 6:57, 7 o'clock, algo got turned on. We went back and tested, the highs from overnight, which were like 92 yesterday. Right. So we went back and tested that, got to 83. And it's like, okay, if they're going to keep going, matter of fact, if it would have gotten over 92, I saw 770 to 800, but we didn't get there. So that was ready for it. I'm like, if we go there, I'm going to buy it. If we go to 710, I'm going to buy it up to 800. We're going to go there because that's a big level there, but we failed again. So I don't know. I don't really have a feeling. I don't play double tops, but this is looking heavy for 2 days. The 2-day market is heavy. How's that?
Again, man, your time fractal is so important on your analysis and
okay. So the 300 point thing today, Bob. I mean, we could trade down here to 380 or so because 300 from here is 380. So we're at 570. We could have another 200 points down still today, and we got 3 hours left in the day. It's kind of looking like it when you consider that you just went up 15% 6 days. But you're wrong if it goes back above 700.
And then 700 gets you what on the 300 point?
300 points from the low today is already 760. So
760 is available.
Mm-hmm. And I'm saying 770. So that all kind of
available just to match the average range.
Right.
And by the way, it's our average range, the way we pick it up.
That's right.
And calculate it. It is math, by the way. It is math based.
I don't care what people say. You got to be good at basic algebra and math in this game, and you have to be able to do it fast. If you're not, you're going to miss trades and you're going to be confused. Like to me, I sleep in these. I sleep in charts like this. That's my exciting dream life.
By the way, Matt, this is a pretty good Galaga formation that we talk about a lot. And you had shared the octagonal octuplet, the octuplet Galaga.
Well, this one I said to you earlier was rotating. We didn't have this top yesterday, and now we're rotating down, and this is kind of like I said it would. We rotated above it, and now we came back to it, and now we're rotating below it.
All right, man. Fantastic work as usual, Miss Trade, Matt Davio. Lee, you got any questions?
And it happens over time.
Time.
And
all dressed up.
I think we're having Lee reach out to Kamala. We want to have her on to talk about time. So please reach out to
the incredible importance of the passage of time. I feel like Charlton Heston should be able to. That was written for Charlton Heston, right? And she found it somewhere. And he's like, the incredible importance of the passage of time. When I was wasn't he a big gun rights guy? Of course. Incredible importance of
didn't he work for are you the man who wrecked the buffet at the
what I say, Matt? In cooking, the incredible importance of the usage of time. Parsley okay, sage okay, but time is what you really need. All right, you freak.
Wait, was it you? Were you? That was almost parsley sage. That was,
Yeah. See, I can work music. Music. I work it all into the show.
I like it. Tip of the hat.
All right, listen. Please visit us at marketvitals.io. Please share, retweet, plagiarize the broadcast far and wide. If you have any questions, points of rebuttal, any particular symbol that you would like us to dissect from a standard deviation and or market profile standpoint, please reach out and ask. You have a great day, Matt.
You too, Bobby. Peace.